So today I'm going to teach you how to rotate your tires and change your shocks. It's pretty simple. So first thing you do is pop off your caps. These just pop right off. Just use a flat screwdriver. Then go to all of your lug nuts and loosen them up. Usually just a quarter turn or a half turn is all you need to get them broken loose. Then we go through and jack up the truck. Now that we have the truck jacked up on all four corners, as was seen in the pictures, now we go through and remove the lug nuts from all four corners of the truck. You don't have to use an impact like this, but it makes the process a lot faster. Once you have all 8 of them off, just pull your wheel off and set it aside. Before we take this off though, I'd like to make a note that a lot of people try to jack their vehicles up way higher than they need to. You just need to get it up just high enough to get about a finger's worth underneath your tire. You don't need any more than that. The higher it is, the higher you jack it up, the less stable it is, the more unstable it becomes, the more dangerous it is. So just enough to get the tire to move a little bit. It's also easier to put the tire back on. These are 18-inch wheels, 33-inch tire. It's pretty heavy. So if you just have to lift it up a half an inch, it's a lot easier than trying to lift it up 3 or 4 inches. It makes it a lot easier. Roll it off to the side. You can start distributing the tires where they go as you take them off. The way I rotate my tires, I take the rear tires, put them straight to the front, and the front tires, I move them to the back and cross them. So over a set of 4 rotations, the tire will make its way around the vehicle and be in each spot one time. I'm going to move this tire up front and take the lug nuts off the rest of my wheels and move everything to where it goes. For this particular application, we have different shocks on the front and the rear. Not all vehicles will be like this. Some will have the same all the way around. So these are the rear shocks. They're a little bit longer, as you can see. They're also compressed. With some shocks, they're directional. It matters which way is up, which way is down. The shocks that I put onto this point didn't matter. You could install them upside down or right side up. You could have the boot whichever way you wanted. It didn't matter. These, however, it does matter. Whatever type of shock you get, be sure and read the literature that comes with it to make sure you're installing them correctly. It's not very fun to do this again because you did something stupid like install your shock upside down. So pay attention to that. When you're removing your old shocks, it's good to spray the bolts the night before you have to do this job because these are exposed bolts and they have a tendency to get rusted up and nasty. So by allowing them to soak overnight, it makes it a lot easier to do a disassembly. I found out that the top upper shock mount is pretty worn on this. So when I was trying to slide the rubber bushing over the front of the shock mount, it was cutting into the rubber bushing, but there's nothing I can do about it. So the shock mount is actually part of the frame. It looks like, unless I remove the entire bracket that's riveted in place and replace the whole thing. Anyway, so onto this one. Give your threads a bit of a squirt. This bottom shock bracket looks like it's made out of 3/16 or quarter-inch plate, but it's spread a little bit, so it compresses onto the shock. Once I get it open far enough that it'll spin, I'll put this socket on my little impact. Use the impact to get this nut off. Quick and easy. Move up to the top. Piece of cake. Press the shock a little bit, slide the bolt out. As you can see, it expands. Slide this one off. Set it aside. Spray the shock post. Get the new shock. Spray the inside bushing. Hold it really well. Doesn't take much. Just put some on and spread it around. Hopefully this one will slide right on like it's supposed to. No, it's not going to. So, I'll use the hammer again. Tap it in place until the studs are about ready to poke through. And then grab the socket you left over on the other side of the truck. So I'm just going to use this one, hopefully. Once you have enough threads poking out, put the nut back on. A little bit of grime up there, so spray it a little bit, kind of wash it off. That's good. So then, use the impact, tighten it back up. Good. Slide it forward. Usually the shocks are compressed a bit more. These aren't, so you have to compress the shock to get it into the hole, which is kind of a pain, but not too bad. Once it's lined up, you can finish tapping the bolt through. Put the nut back on. Spray this bolt because it's still a little rusty. Tighten it down with the impact. Then use your breaker bars to finish tightening it down. Tighten the upper bolt, upper nut with the breaker bar. And that shock's in place. This type of strap, you can usually just pull it apart right there where the seam is. It comes apart pretty easily. And that's it, your rear shocks are done. So, you just pull all your tools out, put your spare tire back on. If you had to take it out, if everything's in good condition, you don't usually have to take your spare tire out. I just did it because I needed to hit it with the hammer with the spare tire here. There wasn't enough room, there wasn't enough access, so pulled the spare tire out, made it a lot easier to swap these. I wanted to show this part because it's pretty basic, but rock your wheel in so it's mostly where it'll go when it's fully installed. Lift it up just a little bit. Slide it in place. This one's a little bit more difficult because my hubs have a couple of ridges I have to work it over. And then start your lug nuts by hand, because start them with an impact or with a drill or whatever you're using. It increases your chances of cross threading, which is not fun. Take the bottom part apart, place the wheel bolt, get your lug nuts. Put one in, you don't have to go all the way tight. Take one system. Skip two. Do that one. Skip two. And that's your torque pattern too. That makes it so all the tighten up evenly. So now I have all four tires mounted back on. They're just tight to what the impact will put them on. It's about 60 foot-pounds, I think, which is not enough. You need to torque these to 150. So, but it's enough to hold the tire in place while you let the truck down. So I'm going to let the truck down, get it back on all 4 tires, and then we'll go back, torque all the bolts down. Everything's put back together. We just need to go through, torque the wheels down. So, same as before. Skip 2. Skip 2. Skip 2. Once you've got all of them tight, go back over them one more time. Just straight across. Straight around, I mean. Once they're all tight, pop the cap back on. And that's it. You're done.